Good day, friends. This is Tracy Brown, and my team and I of non-diet dietitians provide trauma-informed nutrition counseling so that you can feel safer in your own skin. And we're going to have some fun today with some black and white, maybe some myth busting around food. We're going to kind of chip away at some cognitive dissonance, kind of chip away at some of our programming we might have around food. And learning to break it down to what it really is. So these are some of my funnest conversations. I think I can speak for the whole team, is that these are fun ones to have as dietitians because, we do get the, one of the, let's say a few bright spots for me of getting a nutrition degree is that you get to learn about the physiology of when you put something in your mouth, what happens to it, without all the moral finger wagging and the pearl clutching and the shame and all that. It's just like when you eat a protein, carb, and fat, what's happening from when it goes in your mouth until when it comes out. And that's pretty interesting. And it is it's really helpful information because it will protect you from some of the myths that we see, in magazines, online, all the things. And I don't want people to think that just because we're in this internet era that this is the first time this has happened. I know for me, so much of my development of disordered eating was from, women's magazines and so many nutrition and health myths that were in there. They were very much, cherry-picked science, exaggerated claims, and mostly, honestly, fear and shame programming to get me to be afraid, to get me to be in, an avoidance of shame, get me into this prideful places around food and name calling. So I call it name calling with food. So when we have this knee-jerk response to calling food bad or junk or toxic or whatever we're doing, I would put my money down that you've gotten some programming, because the reality is I can take any food and we can help you dismantle what's really in this food. Now, this is the thing that I usually get at this point in this conversation in sessions. It's like, oh, but there's no nutrition in it, and there's no nutritional value, and there's nothing good for me in it. And the reality is I pretty much can take in any food and help you find the nutrition in it. Now, that's not to say that every food has equal nutrient value. Some foods have a lot more different quantity of vitamins, minerals, nutrients in it that we can't even name. Some foods have a lot more than others. I totally, no one disagrees with that. What we disagree with is the inevitable outcome of if you label XYZ food bad or toxic or junk, you've already set yourself up for feeling bad about eating said food when maybe that's the only food available, or you're really hungry, or you're really wanting something because this food would go with this eating experience, and now you're already feeling guilty and bad and sad and mad that you did it. And it's a big setup for pedestalizing the effects of food, right? And that's where all the big emotion comes from around food. So again, this is the reassurance that no one is saying that every food has the same amount of vitamins, minerals, phytonutrients, protein, carbs, fat in them that might be beneficial for us, but all foods can have a place. And, most of us probably have some tweaking we could do to, up our nutrition density in our intake, but where we fall into food becoming basically our savior is when we're not relaxed about our eating in general and really don't have much trust or faith in the fact that our bodies will give us feedback if we're under or over consuming something in a way that gives us some symptomology. So the reason that we don't value or honor this feedback and this wisdom is because we're so stuck in our heads with all the labels that we can't hear. And then honestly, we start to use a lot of this mental gymnastics with food to really cover up things that we're not we don't either know we need to deal with, or that we know but we're afraid to feel the feelings and the sensations of. So it's just easier to stay in orthorexia or fat prejudice or whatever it is around our food, because that's what we know. That's what's comfortable, even though it gives us horrific side effects and diminishes definitely the quality of our life and our relationships. So this video today is just to challenge you a bit, to get your pen and paper out and to really get clear about your food rules, because they will have you as long as they're not dismantled. They will own you and create fight, flight, freeze, or please in your system, will create a ping pong between shame and pride, lots of fear in your system. And it really makes it hard to actually eat in a way that's long-term supportive, when if the predominant way you're eating is based in fear of body changes, or fear of what people think about you if you eat said food, or fear of even getting sick. You know, even this idea that you can prevent everything and prevent the unknown from happening. That's what so much of our fear around food is really about. And ultimately, again, this is really about you being, I mentioned last week, we want you all to be your food and nutrition experts, because you have this body, you're walking around in this body, and to abdicate that, really, it's essentially saying that that you don't believe that you're able or competent enough to have a say and to direct things and to make wise decisions, to be honest. And so we want you to be able to become that expert again. So those of you watching live, thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate you. Please go back and watch from the beginning, because I think all the good stuff was at the beginning. I'm wrapping up now. So if you like this video, please let us know about it. We appreciate it. Share it with people who need to hear this message, that black and white thinking around food actually makes you way more out of control than the perceived control you're getting. So we're going to talk a little bit more about in our next video about just a few more steps, I think, to help people kind of break free from really this I call it a faux, it's faux free, it's faux safety. It's not real safety, trying to keep your food perfect and quote unquote always worrying about getting it wrong. So we're going to talk about that and what the function of that is in our next video. So I hope this was a good starter for you, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.